3 people killed after a shooting at the Islamic Center of San Diego.
Police are investigating this now as a possible hate crime. Joining us now is active shooter expert Chris Gollneck. Chris, good morning and good to see you again.
Good morning. Good to see you again.
You know, we spoke yesterday when all of this was unfolding live. What is your reaction as we're learning more and more information to what happened yesterday?
Thank you for the opportunity and thank you for the deference. My reaction is the same. Unfortunately, these are just tragic, right? And when you're in the business of investigating and trying to prevent homicide, you're reminded often of the evil exists and hate is very present. And if we don't start addressing those types of things, whether it's online behaviors, online reporting, hardening facilities, we're going to continue to do the things that we've talked about in the past, which is end up in these interviews the day after. And for 3 people to lose their lives senselessly, and that's a poor word, but apropos for what we're talking about, the security guard obviously saved a countless amount of lives by trading his life for theirs. The other 2 bystanders that were killed, very unfortunate. Another victim that I don't know their status this morning down the street. And then, of course, the 2 teenagers that took their lives after committing this crime. And I think the odd part to me is, and I want to be very sensitive because your audience deserves the information, but we also don't want to perpetuate anything. These 2 style assailant crimes are very rare for this type of attack. For a hate crime, for domestic terrorism, international terrorism, basically at this point it's semantics. You have 3 people that have lost their lives, plus the 2 that took their own after such a senseless incident.
You mentioned it's rare, but I was surprised and shocked when I heard that it was 2 suspects, because a lot of times these things happen and obviously you have to be cautious and aware, are there any other shooters? And it's usually just one person, but 2 suspects and then both teenagers. And you wrap all that together, that puts it in a even more rare.
Ro, you know, you're so right, and encapsulating this into one incident the way it is. We think back to a tragedy in Colorado in 1999 where there were 2 assailants, and you know, we were fairly new to the active shooter world, where by no means was that the first shooting. However, it was the first one really televised that we all watched on TV. So I based my master's thesis on the phenomena of that, only to come here with you today and say this is not about me, this is about we, and we can do better. And when you see the desire for 2 people, whether they were radicalized, woke up one day having a bad day, I will tell you now, I do know, and I'm sure you have other inside reporting, they telegraphed their intentions prior to doing this. And the mother is a hero in her own right while she's grieving at the loss of her own child. She did the right thing. She notified the police, and the police, it's notable, it's remarkable how good of a response it was. They were there in under 8 minutes, approximately 4. And as you know from our prior conversations, these incidents happen from 0 to 8 minutes, and then they're over. And it takes police about 8 minutes plus on average over that 27-year period to get anywhere, because they're not just magically there, and we forget that. So until we start realizing that we need to visualize data platforms, have notification systems, and then AI-style independent auditing and alert mechanisms in place, we're going to continue to have these conversations, because humans can't be the only response factor. We have to have the prevention factor. And it's odd that we've done that with the fire system before AI existed 70 years ago. Smoke detectors and fire alarms, they tell us long before something goes wrong. We should have the same type of system for violence.
There are a lot of, Chris, why questions right now. I think for all of us, you know, when we started talking yesterday and we didn't know all the information, and fast forward now that there are 2 teens, how they got access to these firearms to begin with, what would lead teenagers to have such anger and hatred to be able to commit something like this, even though the police have not fully identified the identity of these teens. There are reports, family and friends, people starting to talk about who they are at local high schools, going to the schools around here. A lot of unanswered questions, and to your point, we're going to continue to talk about these mass shootings over and over and over again. I mean, we have been over many years.
We've had 6 domestic terrorism, internationally inspired incidents in the past 8 weeks in the United States. Yesterday makes number 7. Now, while this doesn't really categorize under the factual data of an international terrorist incident nor a domestic terrorism incident, active shooter is one of the most notable domestic terrorism forms of domestic terrorism that there is. So we can just go ahead and call it that and get the semantics out of the way. The problem is we're still left with 3 dead people and 2 teenagers that committed suicide, to your point, who were radicalized somehow. And I have seen those reports, and I do know a little bit more. However, they are just 2 people that found a path to exercise what was in, whether, put in their mind and manifested in their hearts or other. But with over 400 million guns in the country, and they found access to these, they also needed the desire, the will, and the ability. So the kid ran away with the car, stole the guns, and obviously got somebody else involved to do this with him. And how rare, to Roll's point, that it is for 2 people to manifest the same evil and do this that's not in the name of a terrorist event. It's very complicated, even for the people like me that do nothing in life but try to, save others and work on solutions that stop these before they happen. And that's what wakes me up every morning. And this is no different. Speaking with you, I appreciate it very much because it's an opportunity to share. One mother lost a child to drunk driving in the 70s, and we had Mothers Against Drunk Drivers. One man lost his son to which is grotesque, right? One child too many. But one man lost his son, John Walsh, to an abduction, and now we have Code Adam at Walmart. We need to start getting together as a society, stop having parents lose children and fellow human beings and citizens and whomever. Just stop the loss of life, and we don't have to have these conversations. We can start thinking about better things, and then we can stop the hate and the violence, and we have to just work on it together all at the same time. And I'll say it again, the visualization of data is the only way to do it, and I'm not selling anything. I'm telling you a solution that works.
We talk so much about the why. I'm fascinated by the how, because all these solutions are great, but how do we do it? We heard you say we must do better. One of the members of this mosque yesterday said, quite frankly, quite simply, we were not prepared. But when you consider this is a school, this is a mosque, it's a religious center, to what level of life do we have if that lady said we're not prepared? They had a security guard, what are they to do to live in peace? Because if somebody like this is going to get it in their minds, and you know this full well as an expert in active shooters, if somebody has it out to do something like this where they know they're going to sacrifice themselves, it becomes very difficult to stop a human being from accomplishing something horrible if they don't care about their own safety and their own survival.
But not impossible. And we need to really realize that, right? Listen, I haven't mentioned what I do or who I am at all, and I don't really want to because this isn't a commercial. I will tell you, though, we have 3 registered saves. The program works. We wrote it for the Department of Justice. It's called the PRO model. I'm not selling it. It's not for sale for anyone here, really. It's prevention, response, and options. And when we look at these things from that lens, we can look in, and I talked about visualized data. But imagine a smoke detector telling you, hey, there's smoke in your studio right now. You would simply get up and walk out. What if somebody was walking to that Islamic Center with a firearm present, which they did, and the video took a really good historical memory of what happened, but it's a living witness. It didn't do anything. What if we could make that video camera work for you and send you a notification and say there's a person with a gun outside, and you picked up your phone and you looked, and there's a map of all indoor places that you can go and where you can take shelter, and now we have no victims. So as long as the fire lights, to the fire analogy, the fire lights on the building, we're not losing people to fire at the rate we used to because we've taken steps to prevent them. What you just said is such a good summation of everything that we've done for 27 years. Rinse and repeat. We hire more security. We think good guys with guns will stop bad guys with guns. In this case, they did, but they traded their life. Is that an acceptable price? I would say no. And to all the families that are devastated by this, to include what we talked about yesterday, those children will have to live with this forever. It's time to stop traumatizing them too. And to your point, schools can do better. Religious institutions can do better.
Yeah.
Houses of worship can do better. And there's more that we can do that goes well beyond just hiring somebody with a firearm and hoping for the best, because hope is not a strategy.
Chris Gollneck, we appreciate your expertise and you talking with us the last couple of days.